everyone. I'm Juliette.
And I'm Karl.
And this is the VISIONURI podcast,
where we talk all things eyes.
Whether it's eyewear fashion from our collection, Nuri Lens, or trending eye health phenomena, we cover some of the things that people might not think about related to their eyes, but should.
We'll explore hot topics in the world of eye health, talk to professionals in the field, and share stories of real people with real life experiences.
We invite you to join us as visionaries looking toward a future with a clear view.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the VISIONURI podcast. Once again, I'm Karl. I'm joined with my lovely co-host, Juliette. Juliette, how's it going?
Everything's going good. Hi, everybody. Episode 4. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we're already on episode 4. It goes quickly.
It's been a slow, quick climb.
Yeah. I still feel like we're very new in the process. So part of me still wants to say welcome to episode 1 of the Vision, but we're on episode 4.
But we're still on season 1, so I guess it counts in a way.
Yeah, I don't know when what are we capping it at? You think maybe 8, 10?
I don't know.
We'll keep them on their toes.
We'll see. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah. What's been going on with Nuri Lens? We've been a little busy. What have we been up to?
So let's talk about this past weekend.
Okay.
Today we're recording on a Saturday, so the past weekend. Wow. We were at AfroPunk.
Yes. AfroPunk Brooklyn.
AfroPunk Brooklyn. You know they're going to be in Brazil in November.
Yes, they were telling me about that. I was talking to a photographer about that. He's like, "Hey, you going to the next one?" I was like,
I would love to go to Brazil, AfroPunk Brazil, but it was dope. So, okay, tell me first about your experience, and I'll share mine.
Well, okay, so I've been to AfroPunk just as a regular, regular civilian, I guess. Just to enjoy it,
like you joined as part of the military.
Yeah, but it was fun. As a regular attendant, I guess I would say. And it's a good time. It's a nice weekend. It's usually 2 days. It's a festival, so it's like you're there all day. There's artists performing, but besides that, there's amazing vendors for food. There's a lot of culture. You can buy things. You can you can do interactive things at different booths. It's a lot of fun. And it is very Black, which is nice, but obviously everyone is welcome. So you see people from all across the diaspora, which is nice. Diaspora. Juliette, how was your experience? What did you think?
Can I tell you, speaking of which, the word, what is diaspora? That's hard.
Yeah.
Because I know in French, we call it diaspora, or in Creole, we call it diaspora. Anyway, oh my gosh, it was great. It was my first time going to AfroPunk. I felt like I kind of fit in. It gave me very free-spirited, eclectic vibes. So it was definitely a great first experience. Of course, it rained on Sunday, but but people still came through, which was really, really nice. It was just great to see the entire spectrum of Blackness. It wasn't a African American versus Caribbean versus African. It was just literally everyone under that umbrella. And even as you said, people who wanted to just join in on the experience, right? You didn't just have to be Black, and you could join. So it was a vibe. It was really good. Can I tell you, for weeks, I've been looking for the perfect West Indian spot. A lot of people close to me know I'm Haitian, but I love Jamaican oxtail. I think Jamaican oxtail is the best oxtail. Haitian rice does not have a comparison, but Jamaican oxtail, listen, they're up there.
I'm not gonna say it's the best. It's my Haitian pride, the best. But we can let that slide.
Haitian pride. I'm sorry, my Haitian people. We got to give the oxtail to Jamaicans because it's super good. And I've been going for weeks trying to find really good Jamaican oxtail.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about we're not going to mention other parts of the food eating experience, but I'll say I want to give a huge shout out to Jamrock Jerk. I think that was
Yes.
the food truck. The
Jam-
customer service was impeccable. The
They were a
food was
unit.
beautifully
They were a unit.
seasoned, an
Yes.
entire unit. And I was there like 3 times in one
Even
day.
the day, like, because I ended up going the second day when it was raining. Like, you could
Right.
tell, like, they're like it. And honestly, I was a regular civilian because they had like the unit, they had the jackets on.
They were there. They were ready.
They was ready. They were ready, and it was like across the board, like industrial. They looked like they was in the Secret Service or something, and it's just to get me the oxtail. So
Just some oxtail.
They did it right. They did it
And
right.
the smoked jerk was so good.
It was amazing.
I don't know if they're just a food truck or they actually have like an actual location.
I hope not.
But I hope they have an actual location because the next time I'm in New York City, I want to go to them. I literally want to go. They can come to the DMV. I mean, the one thing I did miss, there's a drink called Sorrow, and we don't have it in Asian culture, but it's super, super good. And I wish they had it. But I want to give a huge shout out to them because y'all held us down for the 2 days that we were there.
No,
the smoked jerk, the mac and cheese, or what you guys call macaroni pie, it was super, super good. But all to say, it was really a vibe. You know, people know me for my crazy hair colors and so on and so forth. So for me, I really felt like I fit in. I didn't really feel like I needed to alter myself to feel like I was part of, even though there were people who were super, super different than I was, I still felt like I fit in because it was just this space that however you came, you were good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like you really could just you can just come as you are, and it's
just as you are.
It's a beautiful space because you see everybody else is doing exactly that, and even more so. It's like I'm not even just gonna just like do my regular me. I'm going to be overly expressive of who I am.
Right.
And that is like encouraged. So it's
right.
a nice space. Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful. And like, I think even as a vendor, of course, my first experience was not just being there, but especially as a vendor. So it was really nice to see just it's always great to interact with people. This is our first time being a vendor in a different metropolitan area. Usually we're in the DMV. This is the first time we're in the New York City area. So it's very, very interesting to see the difference between the frames that people pick up in the DMV more than likely versus the styles that people flock to in New York City. People really like the New York frames, right? Compared to the DMV where people were going more for the 1804. They went more a little bit for the Port of Spain. But I noticed that people flocked toward the Elwood City, especially the Zebrawood Elwood cities and the New Yorks. And then, you know, the other ones were kind of just spread out. So it was really, really dope to see just the difference in style and how people interacted with the frames. Definitely. It was nice to network with other vendors as well. Of course, when you're among your own, there is a sense of pride in seeing that, okay, like there are other people who understand the experience. And we will be sharing a little bit more of our experience. You'll be able to get a sneak peek into what it was like, and so on and so forth. I'll say even the music, which, you know, I definitely want your insight. The lineup was amazing, you know, from independent artists to people who are more well-known. I will say Burna Boy was there, and but it was hilarious to me. It was a funny story where like he starts performing and I noticed like, and it's raining, right? So you have like 1 or 2 vendors who like, they closed their tents down. They were done. And then he played, and then he performed, I think last. And everyone just starts flocking in the rain. People are just like, nope, and zipping up their stuff. And I think I was probably like one of the last, like 1 or 2 vendors that were left over for his last performance. But you literally saw people like just hauling it over to the performance area. I think he was at the green stage or the red stage. I don't remember which
He was on
stage
the
he was
green, I
at.
believe. He was at
The green.
yeah.
But people were just running over
To
there.
the point where like when he was performing on the green stage, there's no one performing on the red stage. If that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, because he's that's what I was. He was definitely like the closer. It's like this is him.
So they didn't even have anybody set up.
No, there was no one at the other.
Wow.
Stage. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And here I was afraid of the rain. And
this is his summer, you know.
out.
Like he's had a hot summer, so
yeah, clearly.
Yeah,
clearly.
That's why definitely they closed with him. He's a headliner too, so you know it makes sense.
No, and he did. You know, even that was my worry. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's gonna rain. Are people really not gonna come out? And I mean, people even came out and supported.
Yeah,
Nuri Letter in the rain.
Yeah, yes.
And I could hear like people chanting and singing along with him, even in the rain.
Yeah.
And it was raining hard by the end of the night.
Which I think goes to show like the type of people that we had show up to this event.
Right.
Because not only is it like younger individuals, it's like you see older people come in from all age groups, from like it's like a beautiful mesh, and they're willing to go through it for the art. Like a little rain wasn't an issue, I don't think.
And it was a little rain to them. Like for me, I stayed in the tent. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Listen, I was out there for a little bit, and it's like almost to the point where I think they enjoyed it more that it was raining. Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. Honestly. Like
that was awesome.
One of the and we're probably gonna talk about this later, but one of the artists that I saw, Mick Jenkins, he has this thing where it's like drink more water. Like he has an album called The Waters, right? So it's like in the rain, it was like this is. It
was perfect.
Yeah, and he's saying that like the crowd was saying that back to him, like, no, this is it. Like there's no umbrellas. Everyone was just out. Like he came out, like he was getting rained on too. It was like this is
right.
For the space.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like one of like the bigger things that I took from it. It was like, yo, these are the people that aren't going to be too snobby for the rain, or it's just like we're here. We came here for this. We knew it was going to happen. Rain, snow, sun, like it is.
Right.
We came for this, and we're here for the art. So shout out to AfroPunk.
And I was. Absolutely. Ultimate shout out to AfroPunk. And I was going to say, to add to what you said, like art, of every form will bring people together. It's universal. You know, you might have your preferred form of art, but no matter what, it will bring people together. And speaking of art, I'm interested in knowing who your favorite artist was at AfroPunk.
I mean, I've already like talked to Mick Jenkins. Definitely. That's who I wanted to see more than anybody. I have a bunch of his vinyls. That was like,
and you also got a picture of him as well.
I did get a picture with him. I did get a picture with him, which was nice when he was walking through. I didn't really want to bother him at first, but I like the fan girl in me kind of took over, and I was like, I gotta be
it can't be a fanboy.
Fanboy, nah. I was shaking. I was.
It was funny because I was talking to a customer and you just left the table.
I was like, I gotta go. No, he was walking by in the distance. And
came back.
I felt bad because like we interrupted him. Like he was walking with his wife, and I was like, I gotta still do this though. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. I appreciate him.
And there were some well-known people there, whether they were like Instagram personalities or comedians. And they were very approachable. They were very nice.
Honestly, a lot of times they approached us, which was like, it kind of took me back a little bit because it was like, hey, you're famous. We should be coming to you, right? Yeah, but I think it was really nice to see that they are down to earth. You know, you're never too famous or too well known for you to just I guess it goes little us our level. But I think it's like an appreciation for art, like you were saying before, how like there are different mediums for art. Like if you walk through the park, there were like displays, people were painting things, which was cool. But even like to the vendors' extent, like I forgot the name of the vendor next to us with the jewelry. Like that's her
handcrafted by V, I believe.
Yeah, but like that's her form of art, and it's like
Yeah,
you coming by to just even look at it or just take a
yeah,
business card is appreciating her art because I mean, all
yeah.
of it is beautiful. Like the on the other side, we had the t-shirts, and they were like
Hmm.
vintage t-shirts with like
Oh, they
people
were so dope.
from like black people from history. You know what I'm saying? Like someone was Malcolm
Yeah.
X. Like you, I was like, wow, this
And
is
I
kind of
feel like one
deep.
of their t-shirts said like timeless on it.
Yeah, yes, yeah. There were a couple that said timeless, which is like, wow, this is dope. It's really dope.
And they had this activity where you could write on a paper and you say,
Mhm.
I'm a reflection of, and you put it on the wall. So
Yeah, yeah.
that was really, really nice.
I'd
Well,
say
my favorite artist was The Roots.
the Roots. Okay,
And it's not artists, it was a group. And I
okay.
love music. I
Yeah.
see them on the Jimmy Fallon show. I don't watch TV like that, but I see them
Hmm.
perform on the Jimmy Fallon show. And I think that's where I caught on to them. And so that kind of piqued my interest when I heard they were going to be there. And so I saw them perform, and that was an entire vibe. Like that, it made me emotional
Hmm.
to see just people either sitting in, and it wasn't raining when they performed, but people either sitting in the grass or people dancing and you know, whatever it was. But that made me so emotional because I was just like, wow, look at how beautiful our culture is and just how beautiful we are as a people. And just the different vibes that the music brought. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I think for me, my biggest takeaway from their performance was like I didn't know a lot of their songs, and I feel like a lot of people in the crowd potentially didn't know a lot of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they perfected their craft to the point where it's like you don't even have to know. You
You
just
felt like you knew
appreciate
it.
the performance, yes. And they're performers. Like, and
Right.
you could tell they enjoyed doing it, whether there was 10,000 people in the crowd or if there would be 10
Or
people in
two.
the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they
Yep.
did it for themselves. And they it was nice to see the community of them on the stage. It looked like a brotherhood,
Right.
like they were in this
Mm-hmm.
together and they enjoyed that. So
Absolutely.
I think that was a great experience. And I mean,
It was a
also
vibe.
they're amazing like artists, like
Oh,
individually,
absolutely.
collectively. So it's like the music was not lacking at all. But
At all. And I think that's why I really went, because I love good music. I
mhm.
love instruments. I love just the
Yeah,
culmination. And then to add the vocals on top of it, it was a dope experience.
yeah, no, it was definitely.
Afropunk, you owe us nothing. Or Afropunk Brooklyn, to be specific. You owe us
Yeah, well,
nothing.
we'll see. We might AfroPunk Brooklyn, we'll see. But speaking of the roots, we did want to move on to our next segment. I think it's a great kind of segue. What we had
Mm-hmm.
talked about before was our "Who's Wearing What" segment, and we had picked to do Questlove, the infamous
Yes.
drummer of the Roots. Everybody knows him. He's on Jimmy Fallon. Is it Fallon or Kimmel? One of them.
It's he's on Fallon.
Okay, but yeah, he's that like that's him. Like you don't have to, even if you don't know who he is, you know who he is. You see him, he got the pick in his hair, you know what I'm saying? He's got like the afro, the energy, the blackness. It's like that's him. And like you give him a pair of drumsticks, he's amazing. So we had to decide basically what frames we thought would look best on him. Julia, I'll let you go first.
Why do I always have to go first?
Because you're wrong, you know? So,
Oh, so you go last, so that the best one for last.
I mean,
So what I would choose, I think Questlove is, as much as his music exudes his greatness,
mhm.
I think in style and dress, he seems more of your just simple,
Okay.
to have a little bit more of a simple style. And this is what I get. I love the afro. I think that's as, I don't know, off the cuff in a sense that I get from him.
Yeah.
But again, like his art speaks for him itself.
Mhm.
Um, so honestly, I went for more subtle look
Okay.
and simple look.
Hmm.
I chose the Lou Ebony frames.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and of course it's named after Confucius, his place of birth. And so I think based on like the impact and everything that he's had on the world, I think with Questlove, even beyond music, right? And this, I believe he won an Oscar recently, right? This year.
I think there was, yeah, I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, I feel like he won an Oscar, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think his
Was it an
impact.
Oscar or a Grammy?
No, I think that's when the slap happened.
No, that was the Oscars.
It was the Oscars, yeah,
At the
when the
slap
slap
happened.
happened.
He won. Oh, so was it with Jimmy? Was it with the show?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
no.
The Oscars are about movies.
Yeah, but what movie was he in?
I feel like he did something.
Oh, okay. We'll have to verify
But
this.
I would choose, I'm gonna come back to the Oscar he won, but I would choose the Lose. I think it just speaks to the impact that he makes, whether musically or artistically.
Okay.
But to me, I think it's almost effortless. It does, and this is not to take away from his hard work,
Yeah.
but it's just like how he just seems more simple in nature, but what he produces is grand and it's great. So that's what I would say. Lose.
I think that's a good pick. I will say that was that's the pair I picked up first. I think the blues would look very good on him. I think also, like, if you look at the glasses he regularly wears, they're similar to those actually, in terms of like the shape of them. And I think it would be a very good fit for his face, for his features. Like the afro has a roundness to it. The loos provide like more structure, I think. So I think it would complement him well. But nevertheless, I did not pick the loos. I picked the Kairos.
Interesting.
Yes, I picked the Kairos. So I had thought about this, right? And I'm a drummer myself, right? Like I've
okay.
Right. So
we might need you to do a piece.
No,
on an episode one day.
By no means at my quest level. But in learning the drums, right? Like I always think about these things a little deeper, right? In learning the drums, it's like two minds like speaking together. It's your left hand and your right hand working together, but it's still very separate, right? And there's like a duality to it. It's like this hand could be doing something, this can't, like, but it comes together. And that's why I felt like the Kairos were the perfect fit for him, because it shows like the left and the right. You know what I'm saying? It shows the duality. And also, like, there's this beautiful texture on the Kairos, this beautiful wooden texture that, like, I feel like as a drummer, when you pick up drumsticks, the way the drumstick, they're wooden sticks, the way they feel in your hands is important, right? Like the quality of the wood is important. The higher the price is, like that's the quality of wood. That's what you're paying for.
Right.
I feel like him holding a pair of Kairos, he would appreciate these because like they're impeccable, like they're stunning, but also it's like it has a dual nature to it as well. And I think it also provides that like that square aspect similar to the Luz, like that rectangular shape. So yeah, that's why I put him in some Kairos. I think clearly
you just always trying to outdo me.
He's a drummer. Listen, he's a drummer. He's like,
whoa! So you even brought your stick.
Yeah, I was ready.
Wow.
I prepared this. Left hand, right hand. You know what I'm saying? There's a come on, like left hand, right hand.
Girl, you're cheating.
I'm not cheating. I'm just better at this than you. It's okay.
You had props for your explanation.
Okay. That's okay. Listen, we started with the same information. You can be upset that you're wrong, but I will give you props because I initially picked the ebony Luz too. I'm thinking like dark wood. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a strong black man. Like I was there. I was piecing the pieces together. But then it was like, you went from the Kairos. Like, wait, he's playing the drums. Like, you know.
I like your explanation though. I do like. Yeah. I think our explanations are very different. Mm-hmm. But I do like your explanations. I think we have to leave it to our audience
Yeah.
of which pair of frames, if it's either the loose or if it's the Kairos, and or if it's a different pair. What do you think you could see Questlove in? But
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Questlove, if you're at the next AfroPunk and we happen to be there, whichever pair they pick, I'll bring it to you. You're gonna get some Kairos. But yeah,
you stay ready. You stay ready. You stay ready. Anyway,
be ready.
So with that being said, we are going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor. This podcast is sponsored by Nuri Lens, a handcrafted wooden eyewear company. We offer a number of vision and eyewear solutions, whether prescription or non-prescription. Nuri Lens combines style, performance, and sustainability by creating an experience that encourages self-expression, impact, and improved vision health. Visit nurilens.co for more information. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are now going to enter into our next segment. But before, I do want to mention that Questlove won the best documentary feature for his documentary Summer of Love. So I wanted to clarify that because I know we didn't know which award he won.
We weren't sure what he won. Yeah, probably catch that.
But yes, he got an Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature, in addition to a whole bunch of others. He is Grammy winning. He has won a BAFTA award and more. So cheers to you, Questlove.
Yeah.
We appreciate you and everything you do for the culture and art. Okay. Now for our main segment. What are we going to call this? It's like our Dear Sally, our topic for the day. But I don't know what we need to call it.
I think we should call it Nuri Letters. As we get mail from our fans. So it's like Nuri Letters, like write Nuri Letters, Nuri Letters. Like I wrote my Nuri letter.
Okay. All right. Fine. Nuri Letters. Okay. So, and these are real stories. We have allowed the people who share these stories to come up with an alias to protect their identity. But these are real stories from real people. This is from F, who hails from the DMV. Shout out to the DMV. Okay. And seriously. So this story. Growing up, I had no problem seeing at first. At a young age, I was an avid reader and I enjoyed reading books throughout the day. However, I would also like to read at night, but I was a kid, so there was a lights out policy. I used to hide under my covers and use a light up Buzz Lightyear toy to illuminate my pages. Unfortunately, I think this took a toll on my vision, and by the third grade, I couldn't see the board from the back of the class. Since then, I've had nearsighted vision. I've worn glasses since 8 years old, and every time I get an exam, my prescription tends to be stronger. I typically wear my glasses from morning to night. They are part of my identity at this point, and I prefer them over contacts. When I was reading under the covers as a child, did I make my vision worse?
Okay. There's a couple of things to unpack there. Well, as we develop, our vision changes, like it will fluctuate as we grow. Do I know if his vision is worse from reading? Well, first of all, congrats on reading. That's a thing that kids are doing.
Because reading is fundamental.
Yeah, shout out to kids that are reading.
But Buzz Lightyear.
I don't want to say.
It's definitely.
I don't want to give the impression that kids shouldn't be reading, but because but what I will say is that he definitely could have played a role in it. If you're reading under a blanket at night, it's dark. The light might not be illuminating the entire page. You don't also have like the external lights coming in from the side. So it's like, you're really like trying to focus in. And I also imagine if he's in like under the covers, it's really close up to his face. So you're now like causing like a fixation issue to where like you're fixed here so much because you had to focus and you had to strain to see this close. So that could have potentially played a part in it. His vision is still getting worse, so that makes me think that like, hey, you're just kind of one of the unlucky ones that just has bad vision. But yeah, what do you think?
So, well, you asked me what I think.
Well, you're in the game too, so
I am in the game. So I'll tell you this: as a kid, and I now, like, it causes me to like self-reflect on some of my behaviors as a kid, because I hate to say it, but I think like I wanted to wear glasses at a point. And so I would, in class, I would hold the book up really close to my face, and then squint. But this was something like I forced myself to do until, like, in real life, I just couldn't see. So I did need to get glasses. So perhaps that caused a lot of strain on his eyes, especially like if you're in the dark. And as a kid, they tell you like you shouldn't be trying to look at things in the dark. So you're already putting that much pressure on your eyes. And of course, as a kid, your brain is developing, your body is developing. So of course, that's going to impact your vision, I would imagine. But I'm interested in understanding if there is a term for that, because I know when you sit in front of a computer for hours on end, we call that digital eye strain, right? But what about the eye strain that comes from trying to read a book up close or trying to read in the dark? Is there an actual term for that?
Is there an actual term? Not that I can think of. I think it's more like you're just dealing with like the symptoms of like what caused it. And that would just generally be eye strain. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, right? Like when there's a lens in your eyes, right? And as you age, that lens it kind of like crystallizes, it gets harder. And that could be due to different vitamin deficiencies, different like minerals. It could just be due to like age, like your body functionality is decreasing, but it could also just be like your genetics, right? And some people develop cataracts. That's when that lens like becomes completely hardened and it no longer has like a flex to it.
Right.
And it then has like a tint. So that's why you can't see when you have cataracts. But as you age, that lens becomes stiffer anyway, right? So if you're developing, if you're developing and you are putting strain on your eyes to be fixed at a particular location all the time, it can lose the ability to adjust to further things, right? And that's why I think it might have played a part in it. Now, obviously, he might have needed glasses regardless if he did this.
Right.
I don't think he necessarily was helping his cause, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah.
But what does that say about like some of these toys, right? And I'm curious about that. Before the episode, I found that at least some of the modern toys, they use LED lights for some of these modern toys that light up. So perhaps this is a toy that he probably should have been using, during the day or whatever, and now he's using it at night under his covers. Could that perhaps also add to the strain that he was experiencing? You have this big blue light that usually is supposed to, this big thing that emits blue light to an extent, I would say, that's supposed to keep us awake during the day when it comes from our computers, and now you have it under your covers.
Yeah, that's a good point too. A toy that you're probably supposed to have, like let's say you're supposed to have that like this far away, like you're playing with it.
Right.
If it's a light, that's fine. It gets more difficult now when you're under the covers and you're holding it like right here so that you can read something, right? Like it's
right.
very close to your face.
And if you're a kid, you don't know what distance you should be using.
Yeah, well, he's using it as a light source where it's definitely not made to be a light source. You're supposed to use that in light and like see a light come off of it, but you're not supposed to be like using it as a light source. And having that light source that close to you with the emitting blue light is, I mean, I don't want to say that's the cause of his issues now, but I think that definitely could have played a part in why his vision is as unstable as it seems to be. And that also like, because I used to do that too. Like I used to have like lights out, but mine was actually worse, I think, to an extent, because I used to watch basketball games on my phone. Yeah. And my parents would be like, all right, you gotta go to sleep. And it's like, okay, this game is on the West Coast, so it's playing now. It starts now at like 10:30. I'm sitting under the covers watching this basketball game, like right up to my face. You see what I'm saying? And
yeah,
that's why I think it is. Luckily, my vision is still good, unlike you and F from the DMV.
really,
Yeah, I gotta say
really.
that because people won't think my vision's 2020 over here. But nevertheless,
Carl's vision is like like what is it? Immaculate.
for now, I gotta say it while I can. My thing is just this kind of just brings like more awareness to the fact that kids nowadays aren't using a light to read something. The light source is now just their
It's
phone.
coming from their devices,
Yes,
right?
they're looking directly into it. And if you're doing something that's like a lot, yeah, that's the thing. If you're doing something similar to like F was saying, like if you're doing something that's like lights out and you're trying to make your kid go to sleep, and now he's sitting there, and you let him have his phone or his iPad or whatever, you are now it's right here in his face. So trying to just be more aware of those things and look out for your their health, because their vision is going to be important, and it's definitely going to have an effect on their quality of life. Seeing is a vital aspect of living. So definitely.
And I'm seeing, and this is just a random search, that by 6 to 12 now, kids are already developing vision problems.
Yeah.
And so I think that really speaks to perhaps some of the solutions that eye care professionals, especially like yourself, could look into for kids. Because again, kids are very smart, right? They're very, very smart. I don't know what's in the food, but these kids are very smart. But naturally, they may not be as careful as adults, right? As careful or as thoughtful. And so if they're holding their device, they will hold it closer to their face. So I guess now my questions are, what kind of solutions can be done so that even when they're doing that, there are, whether it's protective eyewear or whatever the case may be, that can help emit or mitigate the risk or the impact that they would get from, using their little Bud Light year. Is that what is it? It's called Bud Light year toy under the covers, or like you said, we're watching the basketball game on their phone, because that's more than likely what they have late at night, when they're not very much aware of it. And I know they give kids blue light glasses and stuff like that, but perhaps are there opportunities for even reading glasses for kids where it still protects their eyes as they're trying to neglectfully read so close up to their face?
I would say first that if you have like young kids, be aware, like watch them. They're not going to tell you because they're not going to know better. Like they're not going to tell you I can't see. They just don't know. So like you have to pay attention to them and see where they're holding things. See how close they get up to the computer.
Right.
If they're squinting. Like you have to be like, I've seen, just like my professional experience, just dealing with children coming into a clinic. Like you'll see kids come in and like you'll ask them like, all right, how's your vision? You'll ask their parent how's their vision. They'll be like, it's fine. But then when you ask a kid like, hey, when you're in class, can you see the board? They're like, no. And no one knows that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No one knows. The teacher doesn't realize that. The teacher's like, why is this kid struggling in my class? The kid can't see. You got a science, he's sitting in the 10th row, he can't see, So trying to and I think that's like a bigger thing as well. Like if you notice a child is struggling, like usually there's a cause of it. Maybe they're not getting enough sleep. Maybe they can't see well. Maybe they're nearsighted. Maybe they're farsighted. Maybe they have a crazy astigmatism. Maybe this light coming in from the window on the side of the classroom is just like there's too much reflection. They have double.
Right.
These things are real. But the kid's not going to know that because they're not going to know to tell you that or complain to you about that because that's all they know. That's
and they may not even know how to articulate it either.
But that's their version of reality. They've always been like that.
Right.
So who are they to tell, who are they to say like this isn't good? Because they don't know what good is. They don't have any base point to like to tell you in comparison. So yeah, definitely watch your children. Like they will show the signs. They will squint, and it's even like more emphasized because they're children. Like they'll hold the book right here. So
and that's what I did as a kid.
Yeah. So being aware of that is important because they're in a very developmental stages of their lives.
Right.
And if you can help correct the issue earlier, it will prevent the issue from being as bad as it could be because there is some correction and the kid will be able to accommodate for the correction that you provided and get used to that. So yeah, overall, I think like with young kids, like they will never tell you, oh, I can't see, but like you can.
Oh, the blue light being emitted from my Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're just gonna they're gonna make it so they can see it as clear as they can.
Right.
And they're gonna just live with that.
They're gonna try to adjust. Yeah. But I think that also speaks to the importance of, implementing those as part of maybe the classroom curriculum, right? In science classes, of course, we learn chemistry and biology and earth science and so on and so forth. But perhaps, in some of our health classes, maybe learning about eye care and vision care also is important because, again, this is where we're in the developmental stages, as you said, of our lives, right? And so as a kid, for example, if a kid has an allergy or, we've been dealing with COVID-19 for over 2 years, almost 3 years now. So all this time, in classrooms or at home, we're teaching children, right? If you're allergic to something, if you see peanut butter, or if you see strawberries or whatever, you tell your teacher or whatever the case. This is what you're supposed to do. In the same sense with COVID, wear a mask, make sure you wash your hands. This is hand sanitizer. It helps you clean your hands. So in the same sense, perhaps it would be beneficial to implement those types of lessons in school curriculums. And shout out to teachers. I know you guys have
they have
a lot that you deal with, but maybe in like a science class or a health class or something, or, even like special occasions where kids are able to learn a little bit more about the importance of eye health, right? And them learning about some of these habits that they never pay attention to. But that could impact their health. For example, holding a toy under the covers at night, reading up too closely. Because again, kids are smart, right? So when with repetition, they're able to pick up on it, number one. And it also gives them a sense of awareness. Maybe not every kid will pick up on it, but there will be some kids who can. So
what I was going to say also to that, because you did mention like the foods and things like that, right?
Right.
As a parent, if you were going to be dealing with your child and you notice your child does have like some like issues with vision, right? Like they're not seeing as well as they could be. Recognizing that, hey, this kid is not fully developed, fully formed yet, and there is still time to help fix the root of the issue, I think is important as well, right? And by that, I mean like, yeah, you can get you can make sure that kid gets his glasses all the time, right?
Right.
You can make sure that kid always has he's always has the best refractive correction, which is in the glasses, right?
Right.
Great. But if you notice their vision is getting worse, look into that, right? Maybe they have like a vitamin deficiency. Maybe their diet isn't as good. Look into like what you're feeding that child, because that can help reduce it from continuing to trend in the wrong direction, right? Because they're developing, like they're still developing. So if the issue they're having goes uncorrected, despite you getting them glasses, that's great. They can see, but you can still correct the original problem. There's still time.
Right.
So that's what I think I would emphasize as well. And I think that was a great point that you brought up too, but that kind of just spurred that idea in my mind that like, hey, there's a lot of times like we don't look into that. Oh, the kid, he can't see. Why can't he see? I don't know. He can't see. Let's put him in some glasses. Okay. But what are you feeding this kid? Where's his nutrition? Like what is that looking like? You know what I'm saying?
And we will be talking about these topics later on in later episodes on the podcast.
Definitely. So yeah, and that's a lot of what my research is on right now that I'm currently doing. So I think it's exciting stuff. I think it's exciting stuff.
I'm clapping, y'all. I'm clapping because this kind of stuff.
F from the DMV, I hope your vision doesn't continue to get worse.
Eat your vegetables and your carrots.
I mean, I don't know what his issue is, but I just hope it can get better. I will not get better, but at least get stable.
F from the DMV, please seek specific advice from your doctor. And don't just run with this.
But
next
don't let
his,
your kids.
His next eye doctor appointment.
Don't get your kids any Buzz Lightyear toys either, like for the future.
Yes, and it's like sleep hygiene as well. I think that that's beneficial in teaching children sleep hygiene. Like when you go to bed, make sure that you're not, and actually tell them why they're not doing it. Right? Don't use a light to read up close at night. And if kids are going to do what they want to do, so at least have the tools, maybe a night light, or say a night light doesn't help, but that sleep hygiene where they know that they're not under their covers reading with a Buzz Lightyear.
It's like, okay, we notice this kid is trying to read while he's sleeping. Let's give him the opportunity to just read more, maybe like have more time during the day so he can get it all out his system. So he doesn't feel like, okay, I didn't get a chance to.
You got to be under the cover with his Buzz Lightyear toy.
Yeah, because I mean that's not the way to do it. There's there's just not enough light entering into your eye. It's not just like you're just not in the room of light. You have like this fixed thing that you're flashing onto this book, but there's nothing that's allowing the light to enter into your eye. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're now like hyper straining to see that, and you're holding it right here. So, yeah.
But we hope that helped. We hope we answered your question to a good extent. F from the DMV. And again, if you have any of your crazy eye stories, what is it called? Nuri Letter?
Yeah, send us a Nuri Letter.
Send us a Nuri Letter and we'll share your eye story or question on the podcast and talk about it. And now that we're wrapping up our main topic, we're coming to my favorite segment. Karl, I need you to look excited.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I need you to look excited because you don't look excited enough. You don't look excited, and I need you to get excited because it's going to be our riddle for the day. Or a joke, or I joke. Are you ready, Karl? Are you ready?
No. Hey, come on, get it. Just...
Okay. I'm already laughing because it's so funny. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
What did the right eye say to the left eye?
What did the right eye say to the left eye? This is gonna be so bad. Oh my God. All right, I don't know. What did the right eye say to the left eye?
Between you and me, there's something that smells. Good. That was good. That was good. I'm gonna clap for myself and pat myself on the back. Karl, that was good. That was good. Say that it was good. Seriously, that was good. That was super, super good. I hope you put a sound effect at this point of the podcast where the whole audience laughs with me because you're not laughing with me. That was super good. That was so good. That was so good. And you're laughing and you don't want to say it. You're laughing and you don't want to say it. It was so good.
Oh my goodness.
It was so good. It was so good. Mic drop. Mic drop. I'm going to drop my phone just as the mic. Mic drop. I can't drop the glasses. I wouldn't do that. The mic drop. Between you and I, the left and the right, something smells. It was good. It was very good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Anyway. Anyway, I'm probably going to like think about this 3 hours from now and still be laughing. Anyway. It was a good joke. It was a really good joke.
All right. Well, that wraps
up
episode 4 of the Visionary podcast. Juliette, do you have anything you'd like to leave the people with other than that horrible joke?
That was a great joke, number 1. Number 2, just make sure that you have proper sleep hygiene, especially if you're going to be reading at night.
Definitely. Make it to AfroPunk. All our friends in Brazil, let us know if you want us to come out there. But yeah, this was fun. This is episode 4, and we're signing off.
Bye. Signing out. Bye, everybody.
Thank you again for tuning into the Visionary podcast. We hope that you receive some nuggets that will help you make better decisions about your eye health. Anything we've discussed in this episode should not be taken as medical advice, and if you have any questions or concerns about your own personal health, please reach out to your local doctor.
If you like what you've heard, feel free to leave us a review with your feedback. Also, feel free to visit our website at www.nurilens.co for your next pair of frames.
We offer non-prescription and prescription options with different features to fit your style and vision needs. Enjoy 20% off your purchase with the code VISIONURI20 today. That's VISIONURI20 today.
Remember to see through the lens of your purpose. We look forward to chatting with you next time. Bye.